Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our virtual open house on athletics at Wells College. We're so pleased to have you with us. My name is Gerard Turbide. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Services. And I'm actually a newcomer to Wells. I just arrived on campus this past July, but I've always known about Wells and watched it very closely. It's a very, very special place. A nationally recognized college set in a peaceful little village right on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the longest of the Finger Lakes. I have a colleague, an English professor, who has often said to prospective students, if you're going to get on a bus, you better know where the bus is going. And likewise, if you're going to join a college community, you need to know what that college's mission is. Wells College's mission is very straightforward, very simple, and very, very relevant. We teach students to think critically, reason wisely, act humanely, and cultivate meaningful lives. Now more than ever, organizations and people with that mission are essential. Wells College will deliver to you unmatched personal attention. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio, very small classes on a very beautiful campus. You have the ability here to create your own major. And it's a campus community where it seems to me that everyone knows each other on a first name basis. So if you go to Wells, you got to be willing to say good morning to everybody as you're walking about campus. Small is powerful. We have only about 400 students, so we can do everything one student at a time. We guarantee close, meaningful connections with faculty. We can assure you that you'll have access to our resources and our programs. We will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We do care about every one of our students and every one of our alumni. And before you know it, you'll be part of that network, the Wells College alumni who span the globe, yet still consider Wells to be their home. Yes, Wells is a nationally ranked liberal arts college, and we have a curriculum that goes well beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells College pursues internships of one type or another. You can even do your first internship at the end of next semester. Our innovative programs in business and the health sciences offer interdisciplinary, career-oriented experiences that prepare our students to succeed. And we're a community with a deep and rich history, over 100 years. And a history of traditions. We have a real living honor code that our students not only sign their names to when they join the community, but Wells students and alumni seek to bring the principles of that honor code out into the world. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they are odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and tradition binds and connects generations of Wellsians. Your education is an investment, not a purchase. There's a tremendous value to a Wells College education, combining the liberal arts with real-world experience, our breathtaking campus environment, this small, inclusive, and surprisingly diverse community. And by the way, Wells College's net cost is among the lowest of institutions like us. So this open house today is a bit different than what we had planned for. Certainly, we wanted to have you all on our campus, but we are improvising. And a colleague has said to me more than once, we're not really social distancing, we're just physical distancing, so we can still be social. So today we want to have a meaningful conversation about Wells College and your bright future. Let's talk about what it's like to be a student here, what it's like to be a student athlete here, and how Wells changes lives. So we've assembled a panel to represent the Wells family and give you deeper insights into this extraordinary experience. Again, welcome to you. And now I will turn things over to my colleague, Mike Limburg.
Thanks, Gerard. Thank you very much. And I also want to welcome you all, and I hope all of you and your family and loved ones are all safe and very healthy. I'm the athletic director at Wells College. I'm also oversee the physical education program, and I coordinate the sports management minor. I want to talk a little bit today about Wells College athletics, who we are, what we do, how we support and augment the mission of Wells College and how athletics is a significant important to your education and overall development and experience as a student. First of all, we're a Division III program. Okay, Division III in the NCAA. It's the largest of all the divisions, about roughly 450 members in Division III. And one of the characteristics of Division III is there are no athletic scholarships. Okay, although I will say many of our students receive merit scholarships based on their academic achievement in the classroom, in high school, and in other programs that they may have attended. We have 15 varsity sports. We have, I can go through this really quickly. In the fall, we have field hockey, women's volleyball. We have cross country for men and women, and we have soccer for both men and women. In the wintertime, we have swimming for men and women. We have basketball for men and women. And in the springtime, we have softball. We have men and women's lacrosse. We have men's volleyball, and we have baseball. And hopefully I didn't miss any from our panelists. They will certainly let me know if I did. We are members of the Northeastern Athletic Conference. It's 10 members that we have, and we have a fairly large footprint, which is kind of exciting because we get to travel and go to schools that are in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. We have members in the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania area, and we also have members in upstate New York. About 40% of our students are also student athletes. And one of the things that is different about Wells College athletics that you'll see comparatively to other colleges is that we actually encourage multi-sport participation. A good percentage of our student athletes, and one whom you'll meet today, or two actually that you'll meet today, have been multi-sport athletes. And I may ask them to talk a little bit about that. Now, opportunity at Wells is enormous. Okay, you as a student athlete, you're not put in the position of having to pick and choose. Well, should I do this or should I do that? We're saying do it all. Okay, there's an opportunity to get involved in all aspects of campus life, whether it's as an RA, a teaching assistant, a peer leader. We encourage you to study abroad in one of our many programs that we offer. Get involved in research projects with your professors, and internships, as Gerard has alluded to and spoke about. A little bit about our open house. We're going to hear today from a panel of coaches, some student athletes, a couple of our alums, a member of our faculty and staff. We do have a chat room that's set up, as you can see in the bottom of your screen. If you want to participate in that, we have a couple people on our staff that have been monitoring that and will be responding. And we also have a Q&A section, and as you can see in the bottom of your screen, that's also being monitored, and we'll be taking a look at any of your questions. We can answer them off screen, or we can certainly answer them on screen. So let's see, without further ado, let's meet our panel. So I'm going to ask our panelists to please introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and answer this question: why Wells? Let's start with Mara Primer, our women's soccer coach.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mara Primer, head women's soccer coach, also the assistant athletic director for recruiting here at Wells. This upcoming fall will be my 7th season here. And I think one of the things I love most about Wells is how our whole community, so faculty, staff, and students, are all invested in each other's well-being and growth while on campus, and then even after campus.
Thanks, Coach. And next we'll go with Coach Trish George from Men and Women's Swimming.
Hello, everybody. My name is Coach Trish. I coach the women's and men's swimming team. I'm also in charge of the aquatics director. I am the aquatics director and the fitness center director. So there's some work study jobs along with those. I'm a senior women administrator, which is another resource for student athletes. And why I chose Wells, or why I'm here for 14 years, is because I get to be a fully engaged coach. You know, we have a team of 15 to 20 athletes, and every day they're either coming into the office or one-on-one with extra work. It's just fun to be a coach that you can be all aspects of being that coach.
That's great, Coach. Thank you. All right. Coach Ruck, Tara Ruck from women's basketball.
Hi, everybody. Tara Ruck here from women's basketball. This was the completion of our 4th season at Wells. Really looking forward to next year. I'm also assistant athletic director for facilities, for our athletic facilities. So it keeps me pretty busy outside of basketball realms. Wells, for me, I love the small environment. When you come to Wells, you are not a number. You are a person, and everybody knows you. And that's my favorite part about Wells.
That's great. Coach Jess, field hockey.
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica Otto, and I am the head field hockey coach here at Wells. I've been at Wells for a year now, and why Wells for me, I think despite how small we are, there's still so many opportunities, and I'm still learning from week to week how many things there really are to do on campus.
Thanks, Jess. And we're going to move to men's lacrosse. Coach Daly.
Hi, yeah, I'm Andrew Daly. I'm the head men's lacrosse coach. I've been here now 5 years. And, you know, I would say that for me, the reason Wells is so special is that ability to be able to find peace and tranquility in all the chaos that we're living in, especially college students. And some of our athletes take on so many different roles on campus and take such rigorous course loads that being able to go find a quiet place in the library or go down to the boathouse and relax, or even play 9 holes on the golf course and really find that peace and tranquility in campus is super special.
Great. Thanks, Coach. And our last of our coaches on our panel today is Coach Ryan Stevens with baseball.
Hi, my name is Ryan Stevens. I'm the head baseball coach at Wells College. I've been coaching collegiate and professional baseball for 14 years, and this upcoming September will be my 2nd year at Wells. And one of my favorite things about Wells College is its location and the beauty of all the facilities.
Thanks, Coach. We have 2 student athletes that are going to be on the panel and will be speaking with us. And our first is Felicia Jones with women's swimming. Felicia.
Hi, my name is Felicia Jones. I am a current freshman and a rising sophomore. My favorite thing about Wells is probably the all-around support that Wells provides, both academic, personal, and athletic. I always have a person to talk to. I always have a community to support me with, because college is a scary place to be. And when you're at Wells, it's not scary. You feel right at home.
Thanks, Felicia. What events do you swim?
I'm a breaststroker, and I started doing IM.
I am. So you're not doing that 1650 thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Felicia. And our other student athlete is Quentin Battle. Quentin.
Hi, I'm Quentin. I'm currently a sophomore who is going to be a rising junior, and I play basketball and lacrosse here. And one thing that I think sets Wells from everybody else is just the access to all the professors and how easy it is to get that extra help that you need. And there's literally always a person there for you to help you through everything.
And then we'll be asking you what you think of your head coach. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Okay. We also have 2 alums that have joined us here. We're going to start off with Charlie Nalla from class of 2015. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I hope
great.
I hope everyone's enjoying the live feed we have here today. This is amazing. I graduated in 2015. My name is Charlie Nalla. I played for the men's soccer team for 4 years. My experience at Wells was phenomenal, and the reason I chose it is because of how tight the community seemed to be at the time, and how close the campus was to the lake, and not only to the lake but civilization. You know, it's about 20 minutes to 30 minutes from Ithaca and about 30 minutes to Auburn. So if you wanted to go see people, you could just do that.
Thanks, Charlie. Very good. Our other alum, class of 2019, just a recent alum, Carly Ryan. Carly, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Carly Ryan. I graduated in 2019, so this past May. I played soccer, basketball, and softball at Wells College, and I was a childhood education major. I am now teaching fourth graders and coaching varsity soccer and varsity basketball girls. And I would say I could go on forever about why Wells, but I'll keep it short and just say one of the first sayings I ever saw was arrive curious, graduate prepared. I think that the close-knit community, the small school, being able to do whatever you want, whether it's sports, clubs, academics, always come first. It really prepared me for what I'm doing now. So I'm very grateful for that.
Thanks, Carly. Thank you very much. And most importantly, we're gonna finish on our panel, and most important member of our panel is Dr. Jackie Schnur. She's our faculty athletic rep. Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Schnur. I am a professor of biology and environmental science and the faculty athletic representative to the NCAA. I've been at Wells now for about 17 years. I've been the FAR for about 10 years. And why Wells? Why not Wells? It's such a small campus community. I know all my students. I had Carly as one in my classes. As a biologist, as an environmental scientist, we get to spend a lot of time outside. There's the lake, there's the woods, there's fields. It's just such a great environment for learning, and it's just a great environment for supporting students, student athletes. We go to games. We all do everything we can to be a big family.
Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate it. Just a reminder to all of you, if you have a question, please utilize the Q&A button on the very bottom of your screen. If you just simply want to chat, we have the chat room is open. We have several people that are monitoring that, and we'll be happy to respond to any comments or questions that you might have as well. So I'm going to start off, and actually I'm going to lead off with Professor Schnur. If you could talk to us a little bit about any recommendations or advice you'd give students on how they can stay on track in their first year.
That's a really good question. And it's one that, I hope that most students understand that the faculty are here for them. I really enjoy when I have students that come to my office hours and talk to. All of us have office hours. All of us really, for the most part, have an open door policy. We enjoy having students drop by. I get to know my students very well. Sometimes students feel a little uncomfortable coming to their faculty right away. And so use your teammates. A lot of my student PAs, all of my labs have teaching assistants, and they tend to be student athletes. And the students in the class will go to their teaching assistants for extra help. There are so many resources on campus. It's funny because even if I'm in my office and another biology professor is not, students don't hesitate to stop by and ask me questions. So I think it's really just getting to know your faculty, and we're people too, and so we enjoy talking to you and getting to know you and helping you out. Our job is to help you succeed.
Thanks, Jackie. I also want to ask Charlie and Carly. I mean, they've gone through this program. What advice would you give incoming students, new students, on just staying on track, especially during your first year? Go ahead, Carly.
I'll go first. So one thing I always realized when I was playing sports at Wells was that my coaches were always academic first right from the start. They always preached that, and they helped you succeed by connecting with your professors and making sure you were doing the right things. If you're falling behind, you had mandatory hours where you had to work on work to make sure that you got right back on track. And I guess I just am really grateful. I could always go into my coach's office, and I could always go into my professor's office, and I was always there when I needed to be. I would text with professors, whatever they needed, whatever I needed from them, they would do for me. So I guess don't be shy is my greatest advice. Never be shy at Wells. And the busier I was, the better I did. So.
Thanks, Carly. How about you, Charlie? What would you say?
Can you repeat the question again?
What kind of advice would you give a first-year student in helping them to stay on track their first year?
Okay. To go off what Carly was saying, not to be shy. There's so many resources that can be used at Wells. One, being an athlete, you can always go to your coach. I know when I was there, my coach his door was always open. So any issues I had, I went straight to him, and that was kind of the same policy with all the professors that I've ever had my 4 years there. So, and I imagine any other sort of faculty that's there as well. If you really wanted to talk to Mike, you could talk to Mike as well. I'm sure he wouldn't have an issue with that either.
Door's always open. Candy bowl's always full, except when Carly walks through, and then it's game over. Felicia, you're just finishing your first year, okay? How about advice you would have and recollection? What do you think you would do differently? What were you glad you did?
I'm honestly just glad I joined a team. It was the best decision I made because I had never done it before. I was a walk-on. I had no prior experience, so it's not like I had any prior knowledge or anything going on with the sport. It's just something that I wanted to try. And I honestly wouldn't change anything because my coach Trish, she was there for me every step of the way. She made sure that if I had any questions, I could get them answered. I could spend any time with her in her office. She would give me all the support outside, even with classes. We had meetings every week, so she was checking in with me throughout the entire time. So I don't think I would change anything. I think that joining the swim team was probably my best decision.
Great, thank you. How about you, Q? What would you say? You're a sophomore now. You're going to be a junior. Big time.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just say stay focused and don't. So here's what I did. I decided that, college is like this free place. Like I could do anything I wanted. Homework was optional first year. And then I kind of got behind a little bit. And then I had to really buck up and say, all right, well, I need to get my stuff figured out. And I need to learn how to be a student athlete. And I eventually did. And here I am.
Thanks, Q. You did the same thing I did my first year. I always tell people I had a 4.0 my first year in college. I had a 1.9 first semester and a 2.1 second semester. So it all added up to a 4.0. And I had to learn the hard way too that, oftentimes you've got some responsibilities to take care of, and you have a lot of people around you that want to support you and want to help you and want to see that you succeed. So thanks for telling us that. And Felicia, to your point, I also want to respond to one of the questions that just came up in our Q&A is you don't have to be recruited to be a student athlete on a team. We have a number of our students who wanted to try a sport, and they're encouraged to do so. We're also, and I'm going to ask the coaches a little bit too, we do recruit. We do bring a number of student athletes who are recruited, but we can't recruit everywhere, right? We can't be everywhere all the time. So, if you're interested and you have a penchant for wanting to play on a varsity sport for reasons like Felicia said, just to get to meet people, get to know people, there's a commitment that we're looking for, and from you, we are encouraging you to do those. Don't let the fact that you weren't recruited step in the way of getting involved and trying out. Give it a shot. That's what college is all about. To that, I want to ask the coaches, and we'll start off with our field hockey coach, Jess. How does college athletics differ from high school or club?
Sorry, you starting with me, Mike? You
Yes, I
cut
am.
out a little.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
So tell me, how does college athletics differ from high school or club sports?
Okay, it's so different. I think college is almost, for me, I think it's a little easier because sometimes high school, you have to think high school, you're in class from 7 to 3 nonstop, where college you're not. So I think by the time you get to practice in the afternoon, you have a lot more energy than maybe you did for high school. I think I know it's not super athletic view on it, but I think that makes a big difference when we get on the field.
Okay. How about you, Coach? What do you think the difference is?
I would agree with that a little bit. I would also say that the differences as far as level of competition is higher. For us, with basketball, I think the speed of the game is a little bit faster. It's a little bit more physical, which is one of the things that we try to make sure that we're spending time in the weight room or spending time working on our conditioning so that we are improving on those things. And those might be changes that maybe students didn't have in high school, opportunities to get in the weight room. So we definitely had people who have never touched the weights before. So that's something where we work on trying to teach and get ourselves better on and off the court.
Okay, thanks. Coach Daly, what do you think?
Honestly, for me, I think the biggest difference specifically at the Division III level is expectations outside of practice and class. You know, in your non-traditional season, you're only allotted 15 practices. And for us, that ends in mid-October. And so there's time from mid-October all the way until our first practice and end of January, early February. And for college athletics compared to high school, you really need to focus on continuing to get better on your own time. Whereas in high school or club, you might have a lot more tournaments or a lot more high school practices that are allowed. In college, it's on you to really put in the work extra on your own and continue to stay in shape and get better. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Great. Thank you. And Coach Stevens, your thoughts?
To kind of go along with what Coach Ruck said, the speed of the game is definitely a lot faster, and the athletes are smarter, bigger, and stronger. And that comes with a lot of work, good work ethic, and commitment to your craft.
So, thanks, Coach. And I'm going to ask this next question. It actually came from one of our attendees. Talk a little bit about, and I'm going to expand this to, I want all of you to be able to respond to this from your own situations. And Professor Schnurr, I'm going to ask you the same question, only it's going to be twisted a little bit differently, right? What can student athletes do now, to prepare themselves, kind of off-season training per se, or workouts that they can do in preparation for their sport? And Jackie, I guess the question comes to you from the standpoint of your academic preparation. What can students do now to prepare themselves for the influx of academic responsibilities that they're going to have come August? So why don't we save that last piece for you, Jackie, later in a second. Let's ask let me ask Carly Ryan to lead us off on that one. Preseason stuff. How can you get yourself prepared?
I ran. I played as much as possible. So I came to Wells just playing soccer and basketball, and I played softball my senior year. But as much as I possibly could, I had my hand on a basketball, my feet on a soccer ball, sometimes both at the same time. And I just did whatever I could. I talked with my coaches. I asked them what they wanted from me, what I could do to keep myself busy. Obviously, they can't coach you in the off season, but they can give you suggestions, and I followed them. One thing I didn't do that I wish I did was lift more before I went into college my freshman year, because I really did get thrown around quite a bit on the field and on the court. And when they got me lifting, I saw how much of a difference it made to be strong out there. So yeah, just keep yourself active, run, sprint, play, do whatever you can do.
Thanks, Carly. And Charlie, what about you? What do you think? What advice would you give?
Exactly what Carly had said. Just train, keep working on your craft. You might be really good. So I played men's soccer, and so I was right-footed. And, you can be the best right-footed and never touch your left, but, there's going to be other kids that are going to have both feet. So in that case, you got to work on your weaknesses. You got to continue to work on your craft. You got to continue working on, cardio in that sport. You got to continue working on your short sprints. So I did as much as I could. I wish I had more motivation to work on, certain cases of elements that were very weak in my game. But what I really did was I played every single day. I don't think there was a day in the summer that I didn't take a day off, honestly. And that could be a downfall as well. Recovery is really important. And managing food. And I wish I learned that my freshman and sophomore year on nutrition values and all that stuff. And I think junior year and senior year is where I really hit my stride because of nutrition and lifting the right way. It depending on what sport and what type of athlete you want to be. You know, is there going to be heavy lifting? Is it going to be more explosive workouts? Is it just going to be maintaining your muscles and stuff like that? So there's a lot of science out there. You can ask your coach, you can ask your athletic trainers and whatnot.
Great, Charlie. Thank you. Great points about nutrition. And the other thing that I would offer is making sure you're getting enough sleep too, and hydrating with the right hydration stuff. I want to also ask Quentin and Felicia the same question, as well as our coaches. But I also want to recognize that our students right now who are going to come to Wells College who may have lost their spring season, you know, and it's heartbreaking that this is happening. What advice do you give them in terms of just getting prepared for playing their sport in the fall? Given that we are social distancing, a lot of the gyms are closed. Your opportunity maybe to play for a club is going to either be delayed, or if it happens at all. And so your thoughts from student athletes who are getting ready to play your sport this coming fall and winter, to our coaches who are getting ready to start practices in the fall. What advice would you give those students who have lost their spring and senior seasons to this horrible thing that we're going through, to get ready and to be ready? I'm going to ask Coach Ruck to start us off with that one.
I think the big thing right now is find a way to stay active, you know, and there are plenty of apps that are free workouts. A lot of them are based on, you know, body weight workouts, anything you have at home. I saw one with a suitcase yesterday. I'm doing them in my garage because I have a little bit of room in there, but anything that you can do to stay active. And for us, if you got a basketball, you know, it's a great time to work on ball handling, you know, 2 balls, 1 ball, just get it going out there. But anything that you can do to, you know, not fall in love with catching up on Netflix or anything else that's on TV, get outside, you know, get a run in, you can work on sprinting, you can go down the street, you know, just be active. Those are the things that you can do to prepare yourself. And we'll get back out there, you know, so it'll happen. So just keep doing the things that you're doing.
Thanks, Coach. How about you, Coach Primer?
If someone's lost their senior season?
Yes.
I mean, number one, we always want to hear from you. So, you know, if you're interested in a particular sport and maybe the coach hasn't, you know, found out about you yet, first thing, definitely email them or even call them on the phone and reach out and have a chat with them, express your interest. And we want to get to know you as an athlete and a person. And so I think that's a really great step. And then if they've already been, you know, recruiting you, then continue to stay in contact with them, and then do all the things that Coach Ruck was saying. Make sure you're getting in your work, you're doing your ball skills, you're doing your weight training, your cardio. It will look a little different than usual, but make sure you're putting the effort in, and that's going to go a long way.
Any suggestions, Mara, about how they can do that, given the fact that they may have the gyms aren't open and opportunity to play for a club team maybe delayed this summer? How do you stay in shape? How do you stay ready for the fall?
Absolutely. So there are tons of apps now that have been made free. I'm not endorsing any of these, but I'm just going to throw out a couple to say that these are things that we've been doing with our team. The Peloton app is free right now. That's been really great. The girls are really enjoying that. We do a lot of body circuit stuff, so you can do that right in your living room. If you don't have weights at home, milk jugs, laundry jugs, anything that you can find around the house that's a little bit of weight. And then sometimes instead of doing low reps, high weight, we've changed it to higher reps, lower weight, you know, with what we had around the house. As far as ball skills, there's tons of stuff that you can do just sitting in a chair in your living room. If you're near things that are breakable, probably be a little bit more cautious. But yeah, just be creative, have fun. You know, juggling a soccer ball for 15 minutes, you don't need more than a 5x5 space. And that's, you can get huge gains for foot skill development with that. So lots of little things. And we always tell the team, just have fun with it, get outside, and make sure, you know, it's also something that you're using to help de-stress and enjoy as well.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Daly, a lot of wall ball. What do you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, trying not to be too sport specific, but obviously men's lacrosse and high school boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, women's lacrosse, baseball, softball. We know firsthand what it's like to lose your spring season. You know, Quentin knows, and you know, I've tried to tell my guys as much as possible. As much as I'd love them to just go out and play wall ball every day and do sprints every day, you got to still have fun. If that means practicing stick tricks or doing whatever else, you know, you're going to burn yourself out if you just go and play wall ball every day and, you know, beat a hole into the side of your house. As much as a coach, I would love to see that, because that means you're hitting the same spot and you're doing really well. You need to have fun with it too, because when you come back in the fall, I don't want you to be burned out already. I want you to be excited to get back to practice, back to trying hard, back to competing. And so for me, it's about staying in shape as much as possible, right? Pavement's free. You can wear your mask and go for a run. You know, do body weight workouts as much as possible, and then just go outside as much as you can and have as much fun as you can.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Stevens, what do you say? What do you suggest? It's disappointing we lost our season as well. What do you talk to those high school baseball players? What suggestions do you have for them?
The biggest thing that I tell them is that they're not alone in what they're going through, and a lot of people are in similar boats to this. But I tell them to kind of adapt to the situation that they're given, and I tell that to my current student athletes as well, is to adapt and get creative as far as your training, and to come up with a schedule and a game plan of what you're trying to do on a weekly basis, and to find a way to get bigger, stronger, faster, and also to get smarter too. I think find a way to become that much more of a student of the game, and a student of your craft, depending upon what sport you play, is a good way to do so.
Thanks, Coach. Felicia, we don't have a pool to swim in, okay? Because all the pools are closed. So what recommendations do you have to stay in shape for the swim season?
Well, what I've been doing is I've just been working on my body. If I don't have a weight, I made a weight. You know, dictionaries, cans of food you put in a bag. My mom has kettlebells in the house, so we kind of just use whatever we have. And if it's not heavy enough, you make it heavier. We have a suitcase full of books, so basically just kind of work on your abs and make sure that you get your heart rate up every day. Because if you don't got a pool, you got to make sure at least you're in shape over the season.
A lot of core work, it sounds like. Yeah. How about you, Q? What are you doing now?
You know, I'm just running, push-ups, sit-ups, anything I can do in the house, anything I can lift, anything that's heavy, anything that I can repeat. That's literally all I've been doing. Basketball, go out in the driveway. You got to hoop in your driveway. You can access that.
Yeah.
Walls are free. Lacrosse sticks. Walls are free. Everything's free for that.
Yeah, just don't want to put a hole in your house. Right?
No holes in my house. Not yet, at least.
Don't miss. The windows break. Professor Schnurr, I want to ask you that same question, and I want to ask it from you from an academic perspective. What can students do now? They're in an entirely different learning environment right now. Our students are in high school. You yourself may be doing some homeschooling as well.
Oh yes.
So how do we help our students? What can they do to prepare now until August when we come back for those first day of classes?
That's a really a good point, that students are right now learning time management a lot differently than they used to have to do, right? You have to be a lot more motivated. You have to say, all right, well, it's time to do some English. It's time to actually work on my classes and stop watching Netflix. And so keeping a schedule, learning time management is something that you can do right now. And I think that that's really going to help you in the future. I would say that's probably the hardest skill that a lot of my students have had coming in as first year students, is just learning how to manage their time. It's a different environment. You have a lot more freedom, which you don't have now. So being able to focus, being able to stay curious too, is one of the things I was thinking. Is I know we're all kind of stuck in a different situation, but maybe read a different book, learn something new that you didn't know about. We were talking earlier is that I've been doing nature posts on Facebook because of things that are blooming in my yard. And so I'm trying to teach everybody about what's out there. And now I'm a scientist, but maybe learn something different about history, learn about the other diseases that have affected society and what we've done to move forward. So just being curious and learning to focus, I think, would be something And also, I liked your sleep one. Right. So staying healthy is a really important part.
Now, there is such a thing as getting too much sleep, all right? If you're putting in 14, 15 hours a day sleeping, that's probably not what we're talking about. But,
Exactly.
but Jackie, thank you. I think those are great points about remaining curious, continue to challenge yourself in terms of your interests, read a lot, watch different things. All those things can help prepare you for the coming fall and the transition from being in high school into college. We have a spin-off of that, a question. One of our attendees that asked a question about what works best for you athletes. So we're going to ask Quentin, we're going to ask Felicia, Carly, and Charlie to talk a little bit about what works best for you when you try to manage your college work with your sport. So I'm going to ask Carly to lead off with that because she's our 3-sport athlete. And I know, and I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. You were something cum laude, summa cum laude, I believe, when you graduated from. That's the highest academic honor. So how did you do it all?
So I was actually going to answer the last question by saying hold yourself accountable during this time, and I think that remains the same when you get to college. And I learned that I learned early, thankfully. So I really, whether it was far trips to Pennsylvania or we had a home game or whatever it was, I realized that after that game, I'm going to be tired and I'm going to want to shower and go to sleep. And so you have a certain amount of time during your days to finish something. And so you need to do it. And I think that that's why I did so well, because I'm good under pressure. And when I'm busy and I know that this is the time I have, it actually helps me. And I think a lot of people find that when you don't have a whole week to complete something with no extracurricular, then you do better because I have to finish it now. I can't, wait all week and then do it last minute. So yeah, hold yourself accountable, do your best, try your best. That's what I always did. And my coaches were great examples for me. I mean, right from the start, Mara and Tara were always setting a good example. I saw them working hard, whether it was Mara on a stair, whatever, doing workouts, or Tara doing workouts. They both are hard workers. And I challenged my girls varsity soccer team in the fall this year to not let me beat them. So I'm going to run our first time mile. I've been running every day for 20 days and I told them that. And so their goal is to not let me beat any of them in our first time mile. So just hold yourself accountable, do your best.
Great advice. Thank you. How about you, Charlie? What advice would you give on being able to manage your sport with your academics?
Just, if you don't know what to do, I think the best thing is to just ask questions. Ask your coaches, ask your advisor, your professors. I'm sure there's a department in the library that can ask about time management. I can't remember what it is, but I know I remember learning or actually going into college not knowing exactly how to manage my time. So I learned the first semester there, and after that, being in the sport feels like it's a full-time job on top of academics, going to classes, doing homework. So, after games, like you realize, you can't just go to sleep. Sometimes you got to write a 5-page paper, and it's like, you have the choice whether you want to do it or not, and you have a choice of being in college or not. And my motivation was, I'm spending a certain amount of money, a certain amount of and I'm sacrificing a lot of things to do what I want to do for my future. So I think just reminding yourself, if it's something it's worth, then go for it. If it's not, then that's also a good enough answer too. You just got to figure out what you want.
Thank you. How about you, Felicia? How do you manage your academics with your sport? And swimming is one of the longest running seasons that we have. I mean, you're in the pool from September through March. So how do you do it?
I would say I try not to let myself drown. I spread out my assignments throughout the week because I know if I know that I'm going to get a 4-page paper from one class, I know I got to start it the week before rather than the day before it's due, because I'm just not going to have time. I think when I kind of feel drowned, there is no shame in asking questions or asking for help. So I never want to let myself get into a position where I feel helpless. So just being responsible and reminding yourself that college is an investment in your future, and knowing that this is something that you're doing for fun. So treat both with the same accord and go into it with knowing this is what I want to do. So I'm going to get it done and I'm going to put my best effort forward.
Thank you. Great points. And then I'll finish up with you, Q. What advice do you have on balancing your academic and your sport? And you're a 2-sport athlete, so you don't see any rest. You're going from September right on through the end of May.
Basically.
So, yeah. So how do you do it?
I would just say, like everybody's touched on, keep yourself accountable. You know, if you have something to do a week from when you have a game and you're going to Pennsylvania and you guys have to stay overnight, I mean, there's no shame in bringing your homework to the bus because you have a long bus ride. So why not just do it? And then on top of that, just make sure, if don't, like everybody else said, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, people are here to help you. No one wants to see you drown, basically. We're all basically a family and everybody just needs to help everybody out.
Yeah, and thanks, Q. That's a great point, where there's a lot of people here to help you. Okay. And somebody once said, only the helpless never ask for help. So one of the things I want to ask Professor Schnorr, if she could talk a little bit about any of the academic support programs or way a student can get help if they're struggling in a course. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jackie?
Sure. Actually, there's a lot of ways to get help, not just by coming to your professor, the TAs, but we also have the Office of Student Success. We have a tutoring program over in the library, like Charlie was talking about. There's a writing center, there's a math center. So any type of subject that you need help with, you usually can get the help. And again, using your teammates who have been there and who have maybe taken that class is also a really good option. But whenever a student comes to me and they're struggling, I always ask them, what have you done? And where have you started? Have you asked for help? And usually they didn't even realize that those things were available. So it's always a good thing to ask for help. And if they come to me, then I can help them figure out what's best for them.
Okay. Coaches, talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on that, and what roles do you play in helping students manage that time with their academic responsibilities, some of the personal issues that we all go through college, and your commitment to your sport. Can you talk a little bit about that? Coach Primer, let's start with you on that. Gotcha.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties over here.
So can you talk a little bit about the role the coaches play in providing support for your student athletes with regard to their academic workload, personal development, and then obviously their commitment and responsibilities to their sport? How do you play a role in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would start in saying that all of our coaches are full-time. So that means that they're always in their office. So they're always available, so whether you plan it or not, they're there and they're always there to help you. So I think that's the first way. Whether it's academic related or not, all of our offices are open and they can always stop in, and we like that. That's, one of the best parts of our jobs. And then I would say specifically to women's soccer, I know all of our freshmen that come in, we have mandated study hall hours, and we do them a little bit differently because we have so many resources on campus. Instead of coming together in a room, we want our student athletes to be proactive, and we want them to find the ways that help them best. So we do our hours in that they're utilizing the help on campus. So whether it's going and speaking to a professor, going to TA hours, going to tutoring hours, stopping by the library, utilizing math center, writing center, anything like that. That's how we count our hours. And then we always make sure to have an individual meeting every week with each of our players to check in on that. And then we'll follow up with that to see if they need any extra help, and then we can do that right away. So that's something that we've been doing. It's been very helpful. GPA wise, it helps a lot too. And it's just nice to be able to check in. It has some direction with it. So you don't kind of just feel like you're just coming in and a little bit lost. So you can ask those questions and it's your own time. And so our athletes have responded really well to that.
I'm going to follow up with you on that too, Coach. How are you staying in touch with your students now?
They get a weekly phone call from me, which I know they love. And then we're also doing a little book club, which I've really enjoyed. So every Friday, we all get on together and discuss. We're reading the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. And, you know, our main message this past fall was growth. And so we're kind of continuing on that with perseverance and what does it mean to have grit and how does that impact our team? So that's been something that I've really enjoyed. I love seeing them. So we've been doing a little book club on Friday. They get weekly check-ins, and then they have their own group me chat that they like to get on and talk to each other with as well.
It's such a, oh my gosh, it's such a great book too, and so relevant now to talking about. If any of you have a chance to read it, please do it. And actually, it's a very easy read, and the message is excellent. I know Angela Duckworth is a PhD psychologist and researcher, and she breaks it down in such terms that basically talks about how determination and perseverance will win, right? And so just a great read. Thanks, Coach. How about you, Coach Stevens? Talk to me about your role with your team in terms of providing them with the support they need for academics, for personal growth, and for skill development within their sport. And how are you staying in touch with your team these days?
Well, as far as academic support, we do weekly study halls that the boys all attend, and if they have a meeting with a tutor or a professor or group project, they just sign out and go get their work in. They're all pretty good about staying on top of their academics. If anybody kind of gets behind between the professors or you, Mike, we get on top of them pretty quickly, and nobody gets lost in the shuffle at Wells from an academic standpoint. And I think that's one of the biggest strong suits of the school, is the individual attention, that nobody gets left behind. As far as staying in touch with the guys, we do a weekly Zoom chat. We've got our group me. I meet with the pitchers as a group and the position players as a group to go over what they're doing, and also planning for, if we don't get summer baseball moving forward, what's their training game plan, and what their plan is for moving forward to get ready for the fall.
Thank you. Good. Coach Ruck.
So I feel as though one of our biggest roles as coaches is to be a mentor. Also along that line is we're an extension of your parents. So one of the things that we like to do is we really talk about having that open door policy where you can come in whenever you want, whatever it is. If it's something academic, if it's something personal, if you need help with your roommate, if you need help with something in the academic realm. The great thing about Wells is I'm not calling a department, I'm calling a person. So I know who to pick up the phone and call to get that help with. So I think a lot of the alums and the current players about don't be afraid to ask. That's super true, as far as your coaches are like the biggest resource that you can have immediately. Like, you come to the office immediately, can text me immediately, and I can get you an answer, and that's something, if I don't know it, I know who to call. And that's been something that has been helpful for us as far as staying on top of our issues. And that's something that I really like about our Wells community. I'm talking with my team. We have a group text going on. I text with them individually. I give them a call, just checking in, seeing, we've got a couple of kids in the city area, just checking in on their health. I know that they're a little bit more exposed than maybe somebody around here. Just making sure their family's healthy, that they're healthy. How are the classes going? None of them are in love with online learning. They all want to be back on campus, and they all want to be back with their friends and their families, which is our Wells community and their teams and that type of thing. So that's what we talk about, is missing that. And I think it really is one of those things where you don't know what you have until you lose it type of thing, and maybe taking for granted on how lucky we are to be in the community that we're in when we're on campus here. So, it's something that I know that they appreciate that and are looking forward to coming back in the fall.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
How about you, Coach Galtiotto? What do you say?
Yeah, for us, our upperclassmen really enjoy helping the underclassmen, especially if it's a class or professor that they've had before. So really the team kind of handles that a lot on their own. And, aside from that, everybody has their own individual goals. Some people, a 4.0 is manageable and that's their goal. And for some people, a 3.5 is exceeding their expectations. So we kind of do things on more of an individual basis. But other than that, for right now, we meet weekly on Zoom, checking in with everybody. And then I'm also doing individual meetings through Zoom as well for everybody, just to make sure that they're, online learning isn't easy. So just making sure they know they're staying on top of their classes and things like that.
Thanks, Coach. And Coach Daly.
I know we're running short on time here a little bit, so I'll
Yep.
try and be brief and not repeat too much of what everybody else said. But, for the most part, with my team right now, we've been trying to reach out and contact individually and make sure everybody's mental health and well-being is there just as much as their, physical and academic health. And so I've been trying to do that a lot more individually through text messaging and phone calls. As far as academic support, I think the biggest thing is just really for our first year students, understanding that we're advocates, not adversaries. And so I think a lot of students, when they come in, they're scared to come to their coach because they think they're going to get yelled at because they're struggling in a class, instead of realizing that we're there to help. We want to advocate for them, whether it's being homesick, struggling in a class, not understanding an assignment, not liking the roommate, adjusting to being away from home. All of those different things are going to impact your academic ability. And so coming and utilizing us as that advocate is really a huge asset for our first year students. So I think it's a big deal for them to learn that. And that part of that also is developing the trust with our students and our athletes so that they feel comfortable coming to us.
Thanks, Coach. And everybody, thank you. Outstanding advice for everybody. And quite frankly, I'm not sure how the time flew by so quickly. I know we have a couple of minutes left here, and I do want to say thank you to all of our panelists for giving us the time. I think this sort of thing demonstrates, and what you heard today from our coaches, from Professor Schnurr, from our alums, and from our athletes, that Wells is a special place, and everyone here wants to see you succeed. Okay, you have immediate access to everyone. Okay? Our doors are always open. We know who you are. We know where you are. We want to get to know you better, and we want you to get to know us a lot better too. We want to help you succeed. There's a great deal of opportunity here at Wells College. Whether it's your sport that you're participating in, your academic program that you're getting your degree for, moving on to the next thing, which is either grad school or your professional school. There's just so much opportunity for improvement, for development at Wells College that you won't see at many other schools. There's not too many schools like it. So it's a very special place for me. I also want to thank our admissions staff. They've done a great job putting this program together. Janice behind the scenes, coordinating all. She's like the Wizard of Oz. She's behind the curtain, doing all those special things, getting all these pictures up for you to see. Gerard, I want to thank you and your staff for everything that you're doing for our program and for Wells College. And I want to thank you, our attendees, for spending the time with us. You and your parents. This is a real exciting time. Okay, it's a decision that none of us take lightly. I know it's a little stressful about what you're going to be doing in the fall, but at the same time, can you just feel the excitement? Okay, I mean, you're going to college. Okay, and I'm hoping it's Wells College, but you're going to go to college, and it's just a great place. And I want to wish you all the best. I want to wish you well. There is contact information that is available on the Wells College Athletics website. If you need to get in touch with any of our coaches, or if you need to get in touch with me, please give us a call, send me an email, okay? We'll get right back to you and answer any questions that you have or address any issues that you might have. Again, I want to thank you all for your time. I hope this session was informative. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Charlie, Carly, thank you very much. I wish you all the best in your work and what you guys do. Felicia, Quentin, get back to work, all right? We need you in shape for the fall. And I want to everybody else, I want you to all be safe. I want you to all be healthy and be Wells. Thank you.